What's up, everybody? Big Cop Diesel coming at you, and today I'm going to do a video on boots. I actually just wrapped up a video on running shoes, and if you want to see that, go over to my other page, Cobb Diesel Fitness, or my other channel, I should say, Cobb Diesel Fitness, and I talk about some running shoes. But I figured I'm up here, got the day off today, and why not make some videos? All right, so here we go. So first thing I want to talk about, and I think I'm going to use this as the headline. When you watch this, you will know if I've done this or not. But I think I'm going to use this as a headline, is the Nike SFB. I know there's a ton of videos out there, but you know, I resisted this boot for a couple of years, for probably about 3 years. And it's one of those things where I'm like, what the hell have I been doing? Because this thing is a dark horse for me. If you have been following me, if you watch any of my other footwear videos, you know that I have bad feet. And so with a lot of security stuff that I do, I have to be on my feet all day. And I mean, it can be a thing. But anyways, I love this boot. This boot is phenomenal. Unexpectedly wide, a nice wide toe box, which is not normal for Nikes, especially, well, I should say for the shoes. This is the first Nike boot I've ever bought, besides like some hiker that I got years ago that sucked. But this is the Nike SFB 2. I think I'm missing something in there, but it's a 2. And you know, if you look at the sole, you'll be able to tell, you know, what version it is. But this is version 2. And I don't have anything bad to say about the boot. It's a Cordura upper. It's the rest of it's, you know, the vamp is suede, the heel cup is suede, and then there's an Achilles kind of strap here with your loop to help put the boot on. That's all suede, of course. I like the lacing system. It doesn't have grommets or speed laces. It's just the same material as the lace. Not good or bad, I just like it. The sole is not crazy aggressive. So this, I don't know how good this would perform out on a real hiking trail. I'm sure I'll find out before the summer's over. But on, you know, regular floors, you know, these are fine. The rubber's sticky enough. Like, I'm not, one of the big things for those of you that have worked in law enforcement or security, you know, one of the bad things about some of the rubbers on the boots is that if you're running in from outside to inside, and let's say there's snow on the ground or the ground's wet, and then you run on certain surfaces of floor, if it's not the right compound of rubber, if it's not sticky enough, you potentially could slip and fall. And I don't see that being an issue with these. But great ankle support, of course, because it's an 8-inch boot. And really, again, there's really nothing bad for me to say about these boots. Now, having said that, this boot has had light use. I've literally only used this for you know, security work that I'm doing, where I'm, you know, on my feet some, sitting some, doing some patrolling, but nothing too crazy. However, next month I am going to be doing a Go Ruck event, and I am probably going to wear these. I have some Go Ruck Mac V2s, and I also have the Under Armour loadout, and I also have a pair of Garments. So I have 4 pairs of the tan coyote boots or whatever. Maybe I'll do another video with all 4 of the boots. So these have not been worn for anything rough yet. The Mac V2s, and now that I think about it, have not. I worn them, you know, to the range a couple times. They have not been on a ruck event, and I probably won't use them on a ruck event because of my feet. The other thing with these is that this sole it's soft. It's got some give to it, and the Go Ruck event that I'm going to be doing is called a Constellation, so it's not going to be the beat down that you get when you do like a tough or a light event, and even that's not going to beat up your boots too bad. I mean, your feet might get wet, the toes might get scuffed a little bit, but yeah. So even though it's not that kind of event, I know I'm gonna be on my feet all day, so I'm gonna need that comfort. So I'm about 99% sure that these are the boots that I'm going to take with me for that. If for some reason, and actually I might take my Garmonts down with me as well, because that way at least I have the option if at the last minute I decide I want to change. The Garmonts have been out on some hiking trails, mostly light trails, nothing too rocky with a bunch of vines and all that. But you know, it's a pretty. I was on my feet all day in those boots, and they got wet because it was snowing, and they held up really well. So yeah, but like I said, 99% sure these are going to be the ones I use for that event. Also, there's a ruck march called the Mammoth March. It's a 20-mile ruck march that you got to do in 8 hours. I haven't signed up for it yet, but I'm probably going to do it. I have a bunch of other events. I got some adventure races and trail runs, and I got all kinds of stuff. My training calendar is insane right now. I'm doing a lot of running and biking. There's some rucking in there, so I may wear these for that as well. Actually, if I do wear them for the Constellation event and they hold up well, then I probably will wear these for the Mammoth March event. And having said that, I will probably end up buying another pair. I've found out now through my old age that when you find something that works, buy 2 of them. Because if you wait, you procrastinate, you go back to get another pair, they're gone. And these companies change their minds all the time. The last, which is the big plastic piece that they build the boot and shoe around, you know, there's different lasts. And some companies use the same last for all their shoes and boots, and some use different lasts. But when you find a last that works, meaning you put that shoe on, it fits like a glove, and there's no issues, you got to stick with that. Okay. So we'll see, but these haven't been put to the test yet. I'm gonna get on one of our local trails with these before I go down for the Constellation event, just to make sure I don't have any hot spots, and if I got anything rubbing, I can figure out where that is and adjust my lacing and all that kind of stuff. But we'll see. So far so good with these. Very, very happy. The Nike SFB 2s. All right, I'm gonna go to the Under Armour next. I have 2 pairs of these. I have the black pair that you see here, and I also have the Coyote suede pair that I mentioned a minute ago. These are not bad boots. They're not the greatest, but they're not bad boots. And my chief complaint with these boots is the rubber's a little too hard. I wish it were stickier. You look at it and you just think of cream puff. You think you could just fall into it, but it's actually harder than it looks, which is good for wear and tear, because I've had these boots for a couple of years, and you can see that they haven't really worn. But for off-road use, I don't know if I would trust them for that. These have only been used for security work, patrolling, riding around in a vehicle, walking around properties and stuff like that. Some sprinting. I've had to sprint in them a couple times. I had to change out the soles because the soles that came in them were shit, so I had to put in more of an orthotic type of sole. But the craftsmanship is great. I mean, the soles, the seams are intact. You know, nothing's fraying or falling apart or anything. But again, these have not been off-road. They got the gussets here to let water out if they do get wet. This is obviously a modern version of a jungle boot. For those of you that know what a jungle boot is, you know what I'm talking about. And for those of you that don't, Google it. But for light industrial, I'll call, because that's what security work is. It's industrial, right? For light industrial work, these are great. I never had any issues with them. And having said that, I can see myself buying a black pair of these to replace these, because I'm that happy with these. So, but again, this is the Under Armour loadout. I think it's tack loadout. You got your finger loop here to help put the boot on. Like I said, it's a very well constructed boot. It just hasn't been off-road yet. So when I retire these from security work where I have to look somewhat presentable, these will become a range boot or a rucking boot. I don't know if these would hold up under the additional weight of a 30-pound plate and get beat up, but we'll find out. So again, I have no real complaints with these. Now, because I have bad feet, I do have Hokas. So I have a Hoka running shoe that I did a video about a few minutes ago. You can check that out over on the other channel. But I picked these up mainly for teaching firearms classes because part of that, if I do a concealed carry class, I'm in a classroom blabbing for a couple hours before we go on to the range and shoot. But no matter what, I'm on my feet all day. So I definitely need something with some more cushion in it to give me that support so that my back and my knees aren't aching by the end of the day. But I also wear these on some security gigs. If it's not a gig where I have to have something that's, has something you can shine. I don't wear uniforms per se anymore. Most of the jobs I do are contract jobs, and I usually wear like a 5'11" pant. Some of the jobs I might wear like a polo that has some kind of company. I've got 20 polos over there with different logos from different contracts or whatever. So usually it's a 5'11" pant, either a gray, a beige, or the flat dark earth, or black. And if it's something where you need to be somewhat presentable, then this is the boot that I can get away with because of the fact that you can put a little bit of a shine on it. But if it's something where I got to blend in more, where nobody cares about foot gear, I will wear this, especially if I know I'm going to be on my feet all day. That's that. And then I picked up these Reebok Nanos. And I gotta tell you, I love the way this boot looks. It's a nice looking boot. It's got an athletic / tactical look to it. But I'm not too crazy impressed with it. I'm gonna decide if I'm gonna try to make this thing work. And for those of you who don't know, I do have an eBay store. Don't ask me the name of it. I'll put it in here somewhere. Why am I telling you that? Because you can get lucky, guys, if you wear a size sometimes 13, sometimes 14, and you're looking for a boot. You don't want to pay full price for a new boot to try it out. I've done it for you. What do? I buy some boots. I try them out. I wear them for a couple of shifts, a couple of days, whatever. I will know, guys. I will know within 3 or 4 12-hour shifts if a boot or shoe is going to work for me. And if it works for me, I'll keep it, no problem. If it doesn't work for me, I will clean them up and I'll put them over on that eBay channel so you guys can pick them up. I'm not going to make my money back. I'm not trying to get rich off. I'm not trying to even break even. As long as I get a little bit of money for my time is packing them up and shipping them off, I make a little bit of money back. You get a pair of boots at a great price. So I will put that link below, and I need to go over there and update it. So disclaimer, if you go to that eBay store right now and it hasn't been updated, it's because I haven't done it yet, but I will. Because I need to add some stuff. I got some stuff like this, and I also got some civilian stuff. But again, I like this boot. The thing I don't like, I should say I like the way it looks. The thing I don't like is this is very, very stiff. This is just insane stiff. Why is it so stiff? Why do they make it so stiff? I mean, I get that you want the support, but even in a boot like this, I mean, this Cordura is flimsy, but as long as you lace the boot up, you're gonna have that ankle support. So I think they went a little too hard and heavy on that. It does have a zip, which I like. It's funny, guys, I actually don't like the 8-inch boots anymore. When I was a soldier and for years after I got out of the military and I went to work in corrections and all that, if you wore a 3/4 height boot, that was a sin to me. Isn't it crazy how you think? The military just has you thinking one way. So the thought of wearing something like this, a 3/4 height boot, was a sin to me. Like, I just wouldn't even think about it. But over the years, I don't know if it's because my lower legs aren't as strong as they used to be, which they should be. I lift weights and run, but I just don't like the feel so much. And it's okay with these SFBs, but in other boots, Nah. But anyway, so this is a lot stiffer than I feel it should be. And of course, maybe I should do my old trick, my old Army trick. You remember that, guys? What do you do when you get a new pair of boots? You put them on, you lace them up as tight as you can, and you wear them in a hot shower. That'll break them in. Actually, I think I'm gonna do that with these today. The other thing that I don't like, and then you won't really be able to see it, the green in there, there's a foot pad or a foot bed that's in the shoe, in the boot already, and it's attached. And I don't like it because I normally change out the foot beds anyway. Side note, if you buy a pair of boots from me on eBay, they may or may not have the foot beds. A lot of times they will, because I take them out and I have custom orthotics that I put in. So a lot of times when you get the boots, you could tell they've been worn for a couple shifts, but the footbeds are usually immaculate because I haven't used them. That's not so much the case all the time. So you might see some toe imprints on there, or if for some reason, sometimes I just get rid of them. So you actually may get boots with no insoles. So just a warning to you there. If you get your boots and you're like, oh shit, there's no, just go get you a pair of, you know, from the store. That makes it less icky. You know, people sweat in their shoes and their boots, and I don't know, it's kind of like a used mattress in a way. So why wouldn't you just want to get fresh insoles anyway? I don't know. That's just me. But so yeah, this is the Reebok Nano X1, and this is a new design because they had kind of I don't know, it seemed like for about 10 years they just had their boots all had a goofy design. They went down the safety toe rabbit hole and all that, and it just didn't visually appeal to me. So I didn't even think about purchasing any Reeboks during that time. But I saw these at one of our local stores. They have a wide variety of shoes and boots. So I may try to, I don't know, because I have to decide. I can put these on eBay now, and they're a decent boot. Like I said, I've only worn them a couple times. You got some puckering right here, but I literally have worn these boots maybe 3 12-hour shifts. So let's say 40 hours. Let's just round up. So these boots have been worn no more than 40 hours. So it would be a good deal. They don't stink or anything like that. Of course, I still would hit them with some Febreze before I box them up and send them to you. But I got to make a decision because I could get them on eBay now, get them out to you. They're kind of still somewhat new. Or do I tear out with probably a pair of channel locks or pliers, tear out this footbed in there, put a custom orthotic in there, and it might be the best thing since sliced bread. But then again, it might not, and now you have a boot that doesn't have a footbed in it. But we'll see. But anyways, let me know your thoughts, guys. What boots are you guys rocking now? I have a hookup with Merrell. I actually have a couple pair of Merrell boots, and I've done a review on those before. I like Merrell boots. I did have one pair that I didn't care for, and that's because the sole was that hard plastic, like a hard rubber, and I didn't realize it until I wore them in the winter, and I went from outside to inside, and it just clickety-clack. It was like I was wearing clogs or something. And it was a tactical boot, and I loved the way it looked, but the sole didn't do it for me, so I ended up selling those on eBay. But I do have a couple other pair of Merrell boots. And then I'm going to try out, they've come out with a new line of trail running shoes and tactical boots. So I'm going to make that happen here soon, and when I do, I'll do a video on that. But let me know, guys, what boots are you guys rocking? It doesn't have to be for security or police work. You know, I don't care what kind of work you do. Just if the boot works for you, let me know. All right, everybody, I'll be coming out with another boot review soon. All right, in the meantime, stay safe, keep your head on a swivel.